Welcome back to In Herself Podcast,
where we talk about faith, family, finance, and friendship.
So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on all social media platforms.
And make sure to turn your notifications on to be notified whenever we post new content. Now straight to the episode.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hallelujah.
Oh, now you want to say.
It's like that's the first and last time I'm doing that. No, it wasn't the first because please, you're lying.
You are lying. And we just talked about making it to the kingdom. You ain't gonna make it like that. You ain't gonna make it.
Definitely you're not gonna make it lying.
Ooh, how you doing?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
Wow. It feel like it's been a minute.
I know. And I feel like I get to the place where even if I wasn't, it don't do no good to complain about it. You just gotta push forward. Like somebody asked me yesterday, how are you? I was like, good. She was like, you don't have no complaints? I said, even if I did, what would that solve?
That sounds like I've had some good days.
Right.
Something like that, right?
Right. I'm not gonna do it. Well, yeah, I'm going through it. This. No, I'm good.
Not gonna complain. Yeah.
It's not gonna solve a doggone thing.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah. I'm in the same space. I feel like it's great. It's great. This is a new year. Ooh, new things, new opportunities, learning every single day.
Yeah.
I feel like my word today is consistency.
That's a good one.
And I've been consistently reading my Bible.
Yeah. You need to learn how to speak French a little bit, folks.
Oh, we. No.
We have.
No, well, I mean, you got a little bit farther than me.
Yeah, but
You still in Exodus?
I am.
What chapter you in?
Uh-oh.
See?
I think it might be 17.
Oh, you far.
I am. But I had to not stop like that, slow down a little bit because it's Moses and he telling them what to do, what not to do, the commandments, and I said, I need to slow down. Because it's so much information in Exodus that I said, let me actually go back and then read it again. Because we said that we're not just going to be reading it just because. We know the stories, but that's not the goal this time. So I said, this is a lot of information. Let me go back a little bit.
Are you actually studying like what dispensation they were in, why he said what he said? Are you diving deep or are you just reading for understanding?
It's a deep dive. I mean, we get on the phone and we have the conversations. It's like, okay, so, and I be researching, let me look this up. Let me see what this means. Oh, what? That happened? Or things be a foreshadow that you never even paid attention to. So it's not surface level at all. That's why I'm going back because I feel like I was just reading for a second and I'm like, no, I don't understand.
Yeah, Genesis was a time for me.
Baby, a good time in the Lord.
Genesis was a time. All 50 of them chapters, y'all go read them. That was a time.
Yeah.
I saw myself and my children and my whole family in just them chapters right there. Because every time I ask my kids, what happened to my dishes that are no longer in my kitchen? They say, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Who you for to blame? It was Makai, it was Jaden, it was...
Yeah.
And I immediately think about, it was the woman you gave me.
Yeah, just immediate blame.
Just no accountability whatsoever. I'm telling you, them stories are better than Netflix.
Yeah.
Tamar was around here sleeping with a stepdaddy because she couldn't have no baby. I mean, it was a lot of stuff going on.
I'm like, we should stop watching these shows and
read the Bible.
Yes. I actually think that if there's a show based, I might be talking a little bit too much because let me see, don't steal my idea now.
Listen, but we right here though.
Just based off of Genesis alone, that could be a series. Like, be for real.
And then you know what? My heart went out to Noah because this man was drinking. Because imagine, just for a second, imagine we got all these people in the world, and the Lord say, "Hey, so I'm finna kill everybody, and only you and your family and their wives gonna be in the earth.
Yeah,
not in the city, but in the earth.
Yeah."
And you on that boat and you get off and you knew what civilian life was and there's only you have to replenish. I would drink too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the first thing. Plant me a vineyard.
It was heavy on my boy. Mm-hmm. But I don't, like you said, it's so much deeper than, oh, God chose Noah and then him and his family, they just everybody had kids and now the world was what it was. No, this man was selected and chosen and then instructed and then he was obedient and then we don't think deep into that. Oh yeah, he that, he was in the.
And let's go back to a couple episodes that we were talking about. Be careful who you marry and be careful of the questions and go down lineage, because let's talk about it. His sons were saved and their wives. It didn't say their wives' families.
Just the wives.
Just the wives.
Because of who they were attached to.
Who you were married to.
And we didn't even say that the previous episodes thinking that we were going to read Genesis and this is going to bring. We was like, that's revelation.
That was confirmation.
That I said, I got to be careful.
You better be careful.
I'm scared.
Because who you married to?
I am scared.
That's a real thing.
It is a real thing because the man. He said, your wives, I don't know what you're going to do with your mama and them. Well, I do know they're going to go.
Imagine that your mama and your daddy and whoever you came from did not make the cut. But that's what heaven going to be like.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you get right or get left mentality. And that's what they was already not right. So that's why they went ahead and went down now. Yeah.
It was just good. But that was the time.
Yeah.
Y'all read with us, child. We in Exodus now.
Yeah.
This is our Exodus.
But since you use the word, that's your word for the day, but I know you just had a birthday.
Ooh, ooh.
Woo, 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 woo. So how does that word correlate with new life? Because we have a new year, right? The top of the year is January, but your birthday is a kind of reset again, so to speak.
You know what? I don't think I'm on resets anymore. I think that for me, like every year I told you, I've always felt like this unlocking, this awakening, this restart. It's a continuation. This is a marathon, baby. I'm not restarting anything. I'm continuing what I've already started the right way. Ooh. When you realign yourself and you're focused, I don't have to reset that. I have to keep going. And so for me, 36 is, okay, what God has positioned, what he's placed in my life, what he's already aligned, what I've already been seeking and going after. It's a continuation. It's a next level. Now I don't have to redo something. Redo means I got it wrong.
Right.
I feel like in this season of my life, he's been allowing me to get it right. And so now it's like continue that consistency of what you've been doing, what you've been rinsing and repeating, praying, meditating, making sure, how can I give more? I feel that when the older saints, or when the Bible tells us that the older saints know the way, like the old path, right? Because the older you get, you should be learning. You should be gaining wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? And so comparing myself 10 years ago, 36 to 26, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like there was if I can speak back to my 26-year-old self and say, what would you do differently?
I was going to ask you that.
That's funny. And we in tune together there, right? What I would do. Okay, so 26, I was already a mother of 2. I was divorced. My mom she had 1 year left because she passed when I was 27. So knowing now, like in a biblical way, we read the word and we know the end of the story, right? Or some of it.
Right.
So looking back, knowing what I know now, 26, that's a great question. What would I do differently? That's a loaded question because I like where I am now.
Yeah.
And I understand then now what happened then. So I don't know if I would change anything.
Yeah.
I think that I would be more cognitive and be more patient in that season because you don't know what you don't know. And so if I'd known that I only had 1 more year left with my mom, I can't even say I was, because I was always in her face.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I had peace with that because I know if that lady told me to drive to Sarasota and come back to Washington, I was doing it. So there was nothing that I would be like, I wish I would spend more. No, I remember our last conversation. I remember all of those things. Even in business, I was an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 23 years old. And that was a catering company. Still have it registered, not up and running, but registered. I wouldn't change that. I think that now the picture makes sense. If that makes sense to you. Okay, so I don't think that I would redo anything. I understand why.
Yeah. That's a good concept to have, because a lot of people say I wouldn't change anything because it made me who I am. But I did hear you say something that stuck out is you just would slow down a little bit. And I think in our 20s, I know I can speak for me, it's a rush. It's just like, let me hurry up and get to where I think I'm supposed to be. And then you do end up with these hiccups. And then you get to the place where you're 36 and you're like, I actually appreciate the hiccups because it brought me to where I am now. But I definitely can attest to the slowing down. I ran through my 20s. I don't even remember them.
You still in the 20s.
Almost gone. But I'm saying, like, from 20 to now, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's clear outside. It's not blurry anymore. That's what I'm saying. So that's a good outlook.
And I think that's a part of life. Like, I have to constantly remind myself, because my children are all at different phases. I mean, there's a great from 22 all the way down to 4, right? And so I was looking back at old pictures of the boys, and I'm like, dang, they were 5, 7. He's about to be 15. And so I had to recently slow down and say, stop.
Yeah.
And embrace the moment. I think we don't do that often enough because we're chasing after.
What though? What? Because we talked earlier on the phone and you said a year ago today, you had no idea you would be in the house. Like, what are we rushing to something that it's not even your plan.
Yeah.
Your life is going to look totally different a year from now. Yeah, you may have thought like, oh, I saw a couple of these things, but the Lord literally from when I met you has blown your mind. You had an idea. Yeah, it was a surface level, but it's like, Lord, I didn't think I would be here and have this business and be flourishing here. And you didn't think that your life would look like that.
I was recently telling my testimony to Tiffany on the phone, and it was by accident. And I think, but it was intentional.
Right.
Because it was the Lord bringing it back to my remembrance of everything that I have gone through. Right. So 36 years, what has Nija experienced? And I'm like, okay, so graduating high school, I got a full ride to go to South Carolina, declined it, ended up going to HCC, dropped out, ended up getting pregnant, got married, got divorced after having Jaden at 23. Very, very chip on her shoulder, had a lot going on, rejection, all of that stuff. Working for several companies. I even had this thing, I never kept a job longer than a year. I got an itch and I scratched.
I mean,
you understand me? Listen.
Yeah.
I never kept the job longer than when I got close to 360 days, it was like and barely, if that, 6 months and I'm out on to the next. My life was continually evolving, moving. I was always, I gotta go. Like, where are you? And I'm still searching into which I know now, why I always had to move. I always had to go. Even when I was a child, I remember every 2 years we moved. My mom, because we didn't own a home. Now, when I was younger, my mom was married. Her first marriage to my dad, we did have a house. When they got divorced, from that year on, we always lived in an apartment, a condo, or something of that nature. I was explaining that 2013 was one of the hardest years of my life. I experienced felony charge. I experienced the death of both of my grandmothers, homelessness. I went through a lot in 1 year.
Yeah.
Not being able to find a job because of what happened. And the storyline, that's another episode. The storyline of how that even happened was crazy. I saw grace all over my life, literally. Like, people like, you sing with so much passion. You don't know the God that I'm singing to.
Yeah.
Because if it had not been for him who was on my side, and here's the thing, I'm not even worthy of it.
Right.
Some kind of way he found a way, and he said, you know what, when I create you, I'm writing your story. And this is what it's going to entail. Looking at it now, being a certified notary, signed by the governor. a licensed broker, you still background check? Like my life don't even make sense.
It don't add up on the paper. It wouldn't.
So when I'm saying that you can make it as a single mom, going through different abuse, emotional, spiritual, mental, like abandonment issues with daddy issues. And I mean, all these different things, but they don't make you. Perseverance does. My decision, that's something on the inside of me saying that life ain't supposed to be like this. I can be saved. No, not can be. I'm supposed to be saved, delivered, and wealthy.
Yeah. But it's still a decision to do so. I think if somebody else had your same story, they wouldn't have the same outcome because they didn't persevere through it. Sometimes we let what we go through determine future-wise, and then you're like, okay, well, I won't be nothing. I can't be nothing because I done been through all of this, so I'm not going to succeed. But you, with the help of the Lord, said, oh, that's not.
It only took one time. Babe, I got the PTI program, trial into pre-trial intervention, and that was it. I don't play them type of games. I think the environment that we grew up in, because I was always raised in a church, right? Like you have a lot of people that know God or know of him, but you don't really understand his presence in your life. Like you kind of going through life and you've heard of, this being, this God that does all things, but the relationship part of it is something completely different. And so it wasn't until I got in situations where I could not get myself out of, and neither did nobody in my family. And so having that epiphany around my birthday time, like I'm like, dang, look at what I've slept in hotels. I've gone without eating. Like we have been through repossessions. Personally, before I even got married, like went through some trials and tribulations, and I did not give up. It looked like you should. It had all the signs of you will not make this. But the word that was in me, even if you don't read, that's why people go to church.
Right.
It's because you can't help what you hear. Like if you keep hearing it,
it's just gonna spill out. You are the word at that point because you just listening to it all day. You a sponge.
When you need it the most.
Right.
When you need it the most, it will come out. I am the head and I'm not the tail. I am above and I'm not below. I am the lender, I'm not the borrower. I am blessed coming in, I'm blessed going out. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard.
That's intense.
It becomes that. Even if you're struggling to believe it, it ignites something in you to keep going.
That's why it's powerful that you have your children saying it now, because they may not know it all what it entails, but they get older and they're gonna say, my mama did always have me read, I am the head. And like you start empowering your pastor said all the time, I continuously read over these scriptures so that when it's time for you to fight the battle, you'll know how to read it. You know the word. It's in you. So as a kid, like you said, we were church kids. So we just in there listening. We might not know what it even means or when the time is going to come where we need it. But when it comes, it's like, okay, that makes sense.
And we live in a world where we need it now.
Huh?
Oh, we need it big time. I have not experienced or seen this much anxiety, this much hopelessness, this much fear.
Yeah.
Like walking fear. Not with me personally. I'm talking about witnessing it amongst other people. For me, because of the peace that I have that I don't give myself, I understand, but I can't relate.
Right.
Because of where our hope comes from. And him doing things that don't make any sense, meaning God allowing us to thrive in the midst of chaos.
Yeah.
Regardless of who is in the office, regardless, that's a man. He got to answer just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Whether you want to admit it or not. If you're not doing right, God is the final judge. Like he is. My job is to do my assignment.
I think where we fail at is, in our community in general, is that we put all our trust in man. And then when somebody that comes to office that we don't trust, it's like, oh, let me go and run to the church because there's no hope left.
The church is packed.
Full. Because who else, where else? It's a good thing, right? Like we were talking to somebody at our church, and she was like, it's a complete hospital now. And this is where we triage at. Because people that haven't been in church in years are running.
I mean, you got planes falling out of the sky. You got fire and winter at the same time.
It don't make no sense.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, how are we, you got division and things being taken away and things being added or lives genuinely being affected or not at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now. We can only speak for America. This is where we reside currently. Right. But it's just it's a lot. My heart goes out I pray every single day for God to allow us to show his strength in us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for people to say, what are you doing? How are you at peace? What do I need to do to get what you have? Let me tell you. Let me show you.
Like, how are you not weary during this time? How are you not depressed? Like, you don't know what's gonna come next. You could, it's a bunch of things. Your rights could be taken from you. You can't go here. You can't go there. And we're just like.
But when you've experienced homelessness, when you've experienced lack, when you've experienced things being taken, when you've experienced, I'm not afraid of that because I've already, me. and he has shown up. He has shown at 21, 23, 25, 29, like he has never failed me. He has never. And I have been praying and crying and weeping and Lord, but when I came to a place of contentment that said, Father, if it's taken, it wasn't supposed to be mine no way. But as long as you don't leave me, as long as you walk this thing out with me, and genuinely meaning that, because sometimes we value things more than him.
I was gonna say that it's so much, it's a lot of us that say, well, Lord, if you take it all, I'll be all right. But I don't think that.
Oh, they don't mean that.
They don't mean that.
They don't mean that. They don't mean that.
They don't mean it, because you can tell by your actions how material things mean so much to you. And he comes second to all your other idols, so to speak.
And that's the thing. He never meant for us to not have. Right. It says, beloved, above all things, I wish that you would what? Prosper. And be in health, even as your soul prospers. Yeah. That's not his design for your life. He don't want you to lack. What glory
do he get out of that?
What glory does he get out of your lack? When he says that he is a provider, a way maker, a promise keeper? If he doesn't do that, how does he get glory out of that? Especially if you're professing and proclaiming his name. No, it's just, do you trust him?
Right.
Do you trust the word that he said that he will provide? He will take care of you. One of the hardest, my mom passed, that was a black hole for me. Because I'm like, how do I go on from here? And it will be 10 years this year. I almost cried, Lord. It will be 10 years this year, a decade that I have lived in the earth without her. And he has shown himself mighty because he is my provider. He is my sustainer. He is my deliverer. He is my tissue when I am crying.
Yeah.
He is the hug that I need when I am lonely. That's the place of knowing. But you got to lean in when it hurts. You got to lean in when you're uncomfortable. That's that stillness, and be still and know that that he is God. So it doesn't matter. That's the peace. Baby, I wouldn't trade that for nothing in the world. And that's what we pass down, deeper than wealth and, insurances and all this stuff that's going on. Are you passing down knowledge? What are you giving your children? Because they're watching.
Yeah. I think about Genesis and how they didn't move without consultation from the Lord. And I think we got to go back to them steps, because the Lord was very strict. Do this.
Yes.
And do it that way. And once you get there, this is what you'll do. It was clear instructions on how it was supposed to go and what would happen. I'm going to harden his heart, and this is what is going to happen. And you're going to come back to me. And this, there was a story in play, but that's because Lord, what do I do now? What's next? We don't do that.
I'll even go deeper than that. One thing that stuck out to me in addition to that is when Noah, when Isaac, when all of Abraham, they all built an altar where they met God, where God last spoke. How often are we building our altars? When God has brought you out of, and when you are seeking another answer, where is your altar? What altar are you building to say, this place is where you spoke to me. This place, when I'm going through with my lights and my water and my children acting up, I'm going to build an altar here to remind myself the last time you delivered, you brought me. Every time they built an altar of sacrifice, and then God did extraordinary things. We're not building altars. We're building Instagrams and TikToks and, social media platforms and marketing and trying to be this and that. Where is God in that?
Or thank you, Lord. Like you were supposed to do that. Ooh, you were supposed to wake me up this morning. I'm supposed to have the breath in my body. What do you mean?
Lack of.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people didn't wake up?
How many people are not operating just on their own oxygen? They got to.
It's the things we take for granted.
Yes,
I'm like, Lord, thank you for the tissue in the bathroom, Father. Thank you for the running water in my kitchen. Thank you. The old people say that the blood is still running warm in my veins, that my bed was not my cooling board. I understand. Yeah. I didn't get it then, but I understand now the value of just being thankful for what you have. Ooh, just a couple days ago, the Lord was like, do you know how much I protect you from the unseen? You couldn't even see what was at your door. You couldn't even see what was that car that almost hit you. You couldn't even see how I protected your children, but I'm protecting the seen and the unseen dangers.
In the spirit and
the natural.
Yep.
If we start there, just acknowledging his presence in our life, building your altar of acknowledgement. Father, I acknowledge your space in my life. I invite you into the earth, into this house, that you can move however you wish to move. I'm not asking you for nothing. I'm telling you, thank you.
Yeah. And it just, to me, it comes with wisdom and with age.
Yeah.
Because if you talk to me early 19, 20, I would say, I don't got time to stop and think about what's going on. I just got to go. But as you get older, you realize the Lord has been keeping me. I really have been kept. Like I could have been dead and gone, or the car accident could have took me out, or the abuse could have took me out, but instead I'm here. But to me, it comes with age. It comes with wisdom.
The step is, why am I here? Like that's what's been, it's like, yes, God, I acknowledge that you did for me what it looked like it didn't work out for somebody else, but there was a why behind it. Can we go a little bit deeper? What is it in me that you created? What answer to somebody's prayer do I have unlocked up in me that you didn't just keep me? You kept me for a reason. So what is that reason? If we're going to chase after anything, it's your assignment.
And it's a positive why. That's not a, why me?
No.
Or what? No, Lord, something has to come out of this. I'm not going through this for myself. I know that I'm not.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna get healed. This is gonna be a testimony for somebody to say, I'm not going through that. Let me make my life a little bit better. There's always a positive why. We always talk about, don't question God. But in that aspect, it's like, Lord, I want to make you smile. So I want to know, like, why did you put me through this? Like, who is it for? Who can I tell? This is my testimony, but where should I tell? Scream it from the rooftop. I know I struggled with that, like not saying nothing, like I've been through this, but I'm gonna be quiet. What good does that do? What glory does, like we say, what glory does he get out of you being quiet and not telling the world what he brought you through?
It's just a beautiful place to be in, mentally, emotionally. You'll find peace there. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm getting ready to go on another social media break. I done unfollowed.
Oh yes, Lord.
What them people call the shade room?
Everybody. I was telling my sister, I said I went on Instagram and Instagram said, baby, you're caught up. Then nothing, it come up at the top. You are caught up. There's nothing else that you can see because you done deleted everything.
I'm surprised they didn't shadow ban. Remember I was starting unfollow and they blocked my page.
Yeah, but don't shadow ban me. I ain't gonna follow everybody. I was like, I just can't be consuming these things. I can't be on here and it's not true information and then I grasp it. I done told my mama and then done told the next person and all of it is a lie. I said, I can't.
Enticing, it's just fear.
Yes.
It's inserting fear in people. The enemy is strategic. I'm not gonna give him no glory. He ain't even get 2 seconds because God is bigger, right? I just know that the strategies that we are supposed to be aware of, we are oblivious to.
Yes.
That's just inserting fear into people. And God did not give us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. And every time I'm on social media, I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Oh my God. And then you research it, but how much is that taken away from you being able to educate yourself?
Right.
To study to show yourself approved, to seek God and build your altar, to get your assignment. I don't have time to be scared.
I don't
have time to be in your business. I don't have time to do any of those things. The Bible tells me to pray without ceasing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure my community, my tribe is good. Because if we all scared, then what we doing?
What are we doing? Who's praying if we're all scared? Who's calling on Abba Father if we're all terrified and sending each other the same reels? Who?
In a group thread. In a tribe.
Oh, you scared too?
Yeah.
Nobody is seeking God.
We scrolling.
Hello? So I said, it won't be me. I got to get off of here.
I said the same. I have to get away from this. I cannot. I don't even. I mean, we used to talk about our grandmas watching Channel 8 News and Channel 13, baby, but the news is on social media now.
Right, but it's not the correct news. And I don't want social media to be this negative theme because I feel like it has so much, it could be so positive. It could, our reels that we put out, none of it is negative.
Yeah. It's
all positive. It's all to help somebody, get in a better place with God, with family, with friends. That's what that is. So when I scroll, I got to change my algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. That'll preach. That's good. I
have to. Because I want to get on there and see I'm the head and not the tail. Bet that gave me some strength today. I want to see I'm an entrepreneur. Bet when I thought I couldn't be a makeup artist, there go. I want to see these things. I want to see positivity. So I'm gonna unfollow the negativity.
Yeah, gatekeeping your heart, gatekeeping, protecting what you are digesting.
Yeah,
is what that is. Because I'm protecting what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing intentionally. And if you're not serving purpose for me to get to the next phase, the next step in my life, then I have to go ahead and disconnect myself from you.
Yeah, and I think that's okay.
It definitely is okay.
Yeah. Change your out. Because I'm going to mess up a word. It was called, I'll mess up a word in a second. Change your algorithm.
That's good.
In real life.
Yeah.
On social media.
Yeah.
Change it to what feeds you, to what waters you, so that you can grow. And not just be a seed planted and not growing. What's the point? Ain't no fruit bearing out of that.
Change your algorithm. That's good. That's going. Okay, I see you. Yeah. Look,
let me do it
first. Y'all go buy the shirt.
But
oh gosh,
as always,
yes.
In herself, she is loved.
In herself, she is beautiful.
In herself,
she is strong.
See you next week.
See y'all next week.